Hey guys, so I'm going to be answering a few questions about ghosts and skeletons and other related things. Yeah, and thanks to anyone who submitted a question. I am excited to dive in, so let's do it. First one is, how many songs did you produce? I have credits on 7 of the 8 tracks, but I do want to be very clear that Sean McLaughlin is the lead producer on the entire project. He did the majority of it. Kudos to him. This album would not be what it is without him. Yeah. Number 2, how many years did you spend writing and developing? This album has some really old tracks on it. Like Maryland I wrote when I was like 18 or 19. It's like, I'm 24 now, so it's like 7 years ago. Oh my god, that's a long time. Finer Things was written a few years after that, and then This Time was the next one that I started writing, and it was shortly before COVID hit. And then during the lockdown is when I really started writing for a project in mind, this project. And then, yeah, so it's been a few years in the works, for sure. What was the songwriting process for this album like? How did the songs come together? My writing process for this album was a bit unusual. I stopped writing with an instrument. The main reason being because since I don't play any instruments very well, I felt like it was really limiting my writing. So yeah, I put down the guitar and the piano, and I've always started with words first, so that part didn't change. And then sometimes the melody comes hand in hand with that, but yeah, it's usually words, melody, and then once it's fully fleshed out, then I put it to music. But yeah, that was a writing process that I really started with this project, and it made writing so much easier. It just really works for me for some reason, and I still write like that now. Yeah. What's your favorite song on the album and why? I mean, I like all of them, but I have a soft spot for the title track, Ghosts and Skeletons. I think the concept of that song is really fleshed out in the way I wrote it, which is something I'm still improving on, but I'm proud of that one. And when we were producing it, it just became so much more than what I could hope for. Like that, when we were making that track, it just, all the pieces fell together and it was great. Yeah, I also like Will You Ever Make It? That is the second ever full song that I've tried producing. I did a Berklee class online, and that was one of the songs that I'd started during that, and like listening to it now is so satisfying because it was the most production that I'd done on that song than out of any of the other ones. And when I took it to the studio and we started working on it, like the essence of the song was completely there, and everything we added was just icing on the cake. And so it's just really cool to listen to that song now and just feel so satisfied with how much that I've grown. And man, the guitar on that song, Cody killed it. Loved that. So the next question is, what guides you in deciding what is a good song, something you keep and share, or what do you do with the stuff you write or make that you think is bad? I pretty much go off of how I feel, like most things. I'm a very feeling driven person. But a good sign is if I like just wrote something and I'm like singing it 24/7. And it could be because I found the lyrics very emotive of whatever I was feeling when I wrote it. Or it could have just been, I love the melody, it's so fun to sing. But yeah, and what do I do with stuff that I think is bad? I think I'm actually pretty selective with what I actually write down, now that I think about it. But I don't throw away anything. I kind of just keep notes, a bunch of notes in my phone. And if I'm writing a song or just looking for something to write about, like starting something new, I will just scroll through and see if anything sticks out to me that didn't stick out before. But if it's really bad, even though I don't throw it away, I just forget about it. And if, I forget about it, then I was probably meant to not finish that song. What are your biggest musical inspirations from other artists? Ooh. Well, Verite is the first one that comes to mind. I love her so much. Her music is kick-ass, for one. But also she inspires me a lot with how business-minded that she is, and like progressive in her ideas in that way as well. Because she's a successful independent artist. And it's really opened my eyes to the possibilities for my career. So yeah, she just released an album too, so make sure you check it out, because I've been listening to it nonstop. But lately I've also been listening to Madison Cunningham, her new album Revealer. Ugh, so rich. I feel like every time I listen to that album I feel something new or hear something different. And yeah, I wish I had found her sooner, frankly. So next question is, will you be making music videos for this album? Yeah! I have a lyric video coming out in the future. I'm not sure exactly when. And that is all I will say. Okay, what are some of your goals now that this project is done? I'm trying not to think too much in terms of numbers right now. But my main goal is just to build a fan base, because I'm starting from scratch with this project. So I just want to grow YouTube subscribers, get this album in front of as many ears as possible. Next one, with this album under your belt, how do you feel about music you made before? General reflection on previous work. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but I have released music in the past. I was like 18, 19. I released an EP of 6 songs before, and then another single after that. They're under a different name. But I think of those projects fondly. I learned so much through both of those experiences. Because the EP I made is actually the first batch of songs that I had ever finished. Even though I've been writing since I was like 8 or 9, I never finished songs. Thankfully I had a musical mentor back then who was willing to teach me the ropes of recording a project. And then when I recorded the single that was after that, I actually went into the studio. So that was obviously a wonderful learning experience as well. Yeah, those projects teach me what I lacked, and I love being around people who are musically smarter than me, because I'm just like a sponge. I just soak it all up. I love it. Yeah, that's about what it comes to. Because I feel like with this project, Ghosts and Skeletons, I actually finally reached like the starting line skill-wise. And I still have a lot more room to grow. What are you most excited about next? I'm excited about working with some visual artists that I know. if all works out, I'm excited about playing live again. I used to play coffee shops and like open mics all the time when I was like 19, around then. So it's been a long time since I've played live, and I'm excited, but I'm also scared. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Are you working on any music right now, or just chilling after all your hard work with Ghosts and Skeletons? I wish I could be chilling. There's a lot of work behind the scenes. Like, I made my website. I did the bulk of the work. My husband Josh works in marketing, so he kind of guided me through that a little bit. But pitching to music blogs, doing more on my YouTube, trying to be more active on social media, and yeah, but I am writing music right now. I started writing a new project while I was in the studio working on Ghosts and Skeletons. I'm never short of ideas, I guess. But yeah, it's still in the writing phase. I don't want to say too much, but I think it's gonna be good. What is the meaning of your name? Yeah, Davita's not my real name. It's an artist name. And okay, so I'll preface it. I am half Mexican, and on my dad's side, and my dad died when I was 13. And my whole life I knew when I got married that I would want to change my last name. I'm kind of just traditional that way, I guess. But I had always loved my maiden name, Reyes. It's something that ties me to my Mexican heritage and also my father, since, his name. So I decided that I would take his first name instead and use that, and I put an A on the end of it to feminize it. So yeah, it's a symbol of my heritage and also in remembrance of my dad. So do or will you write songs for yikes. Do or will you write songs for other artists or do other kinds of writing? Not currently. Very open to all those things. I would love to do some collaborations on my next project, and I always have dream collaborations, of course. Yeah, and on my bucket list, I have the dream of publishing a book of poetry, and I think I'm going to be writing some short stories in the future, so we'll see what happens. This looks like we got 2 more. I know artists usually like to let listeners interpret their music, but what's one thing you want people to take away or feel from your album? A lot of the reason why I write music is to understand what I'm feeling or kind of investigate complex feelings. And so I think I want people to be able to hear that in my music. The way I write and produce my songs, they're very much an emotional journey, like to the max. And I want people to be able to feel deeply when they listen to my music and know that that is okay. And maybe my music can be a respite for those feelings if they already have them. Next one. What are some of the favorite things you've learned doing this project? What has been the hardest? One thing I learned is I'm pretty good at doing things by ear, which I never thought I would have that skill. But I guess I was kind of forced into it because I know the basics of music theory, but not much beyond that. So I have to do things by ear, unless I choose, to learn the other way. But doing it by ear is kind of comes naturally to me because the way I write, the way I produce is very driven by feeling. So yeah, that was definitely a surprise to uncover while making this project. And then what has been the hardest? All the promotion and stuff is hard because I'm doing a lot of stuff for the first time, like the website, pitching, making a newsletter, making an EPK, and learning business terminology. Everything has a learning curve, and I'm doing it all for the first time, so it's hard, but I also think that it's very exciting. I feel like it's like another way to evolve in my music career. So I'm excited to see what happens as I keep learning and growing. But yeah, that is all the questions, and thanks for listening to the album. Please keep listening and stay tuned for more exciting things. Yeah.